What's up, duelists? Today, Captain Keebler, a duelist you may have seen in the really big Yu-Gi-Oh! Discord or in the past 8-man videos, asked for a Gravekeeper deck list today. He said, Keegan, what kind of Gravekeeper deck list would you play? And this is my most recent Gravekeeper deck list. I've taken some things that have worked from a lot of different deck lists, and I've rationalized a lot of my choices here based off of those. So the first thing that I've taken from a successful deck list is the 2 copies of Thunder King Ryo and the triple Upstart Goblin as well as the Heavy Storm. These 6 cards were included in a PS5 winning Gravekeeper list that I saw a while ago. And I was just like, wow, this won a PS5 tournament. And I liked his rationale behind including these 6 cards. Heavy Storm usually doesn't make a ton of sense in a heavy back row deck like Gravekeepers or decks that need to keep their Necro Valley around. But usually when you play it, it means you're about to win the game, or you can use it to switch on your own Starlight Road to go for a game shot. So it's just a way for this deck to make that final push that it absolutely needs. And it also definitely improves this deck going second into some of the top decks in the metagame. Speaking of which, the top decks in the metagame, I've made a cute little matchup chart for you guys. Look at this. Oh, look at that. All right. So Gravekeepers versus Vayu Turbo, number 1 most played deck right now. I think it's a good matchup for Gravekeepers. I think Gravekeepers clears. Gravekeepers versus Frogs, second most played deck right now. Terrible matchup. It is a very bad matchup. So we'll get into that when we get to the sideboarding. And then Gravekeepers versus Blackwings, which is like the 3rd most played deck right now. I think this list in particular, with the double road and hella removal spells, as well as Book of Moons, does really well versus Blackwings. So I think versus the top 3 decks, we're looking at 2 of them being favorable matchups for this deck. So that's my matchup chart for you guys. I don't know if let me know if you like the matchup chart. I may do more of those in the future when talking about decks. Anyway, yeah. So I like the 2 Thunder Kings, the Heavy Storm, and the Upstart Goblins. One thing I really liked from playing Swagger's list was actually Cyber Dragon. I think 1 Cyber Dragon should be in every Gravekeeper deck list. It's just a good card going second. It helps you play through Bottomless Trap Hole, which gives this deck a lot of trouble. And it allows you to pressure very, very quickly. 1 Cyber Dragon plus any Gravekeeper monster under Necro Valley is a 2-turn clock. And Cyber Dragon plus Thunder King is a 2-turn clock as well. So it gives your opponent very little breathing room. One thing that's nice about the Thunder Kings is that they overtax Raikou. If you summon a Thunder King and you attack a Raikou, your opponent's always going to pop your Thunder King. So that way the Raikou is not going to be popping your Necro Valley, and it's not going to be popping your Deep Prisons, which we are also playing 3 of. So the way this deck is built is it likes to overtax Raikou. Cyber Dragon is yet another way to overtax that Raikou. Force your opponent's spot removal to hit a card that they don't want to hit, so that your Necro Valley is safe to stick around for the duration of the game and hopefully locking out your opponent's powerful synergies. Triple Royal Tribute, I think with triple Upstart Goblin, you just max it out. Try to hit it as early as possible. It's a free win if it goes off. Usually it can be a brick in 3, but I think that's just, you got to play the deck's most powerful card. Same thing with Trap Dust Shoot. It can break after you've already Royal Tributed, but I think you have to play it because it's just so powerful and you see it slightly more consistently thanks to Upstart Goblin. The rest of the deck is like pretty standard. Double Assailant. I think Spear Soldier is dog shit. Assailant does what Spear Soldier does, but like way better. It also has 1500 defense, which goes up to 2000 under Necro Valley, so it gives you a bluff set to bait Nox that doesn't just get run over by everything. It can kill big monsters in attack position, like Dark Arm Dragon, Caius, Bryonic, Armed Wing, a lot of cards that come up a lot. It plays through Kalut, plays through Honest, all this sort of stuff. The side deck, like I said, in the little matchup side, you get fucking owned by Frogs. So the side deck has like a bunch of cards for Frogs. Double Dyna, triple Rug. You can make an argument for triple Dyna, but then you get a little bit cloggy hands with the Royal Tributes. Dyna's easy slot in versus Frogs over the Thunder Kings. You just 2 out, 2 in, easy. Double Knock this for Raikos, because Raikou fucks up your Necro Valley shit, and you don't like that. It also hits like annoying other cards like Spirit Reaper, which can be annoying, or Shining Angel, or DD Warrior Lady, or whatever. Grammel, I'm not really sure about this guy. He's kind of awkward with Royal Tribute. I've had it come up a bunch of times, but he's pretty good with Mind Crush, and he's pretty good with deck dev, and you side these in a lot, so I kind of like him there. Second Cyber Dragon, when you're going second, you just bring it in. Triple Playing the Rug for Frogs, again. Double Dust Tornado for those back row matchups to just like slightly improve being able to clear Whirlwind versus Blackwings, or like being able to hit specific key back row, like Future Fusion versus Hero B or whatever. Just having a Chainable versus Hero B or Raikou decks is also kind of nice sometimes. And sometimes you just have a card that's like kind of bad for someone's specific deck. Like, for example, like Mirror Force isn't that great versus zombies. Sometimes I like to side in like Dust Tornado just to hit their Dust Tornadoes. 1 Royal Oppression because it's broken. I don't play 2 because it breaks in multiples and it shuts off Starlight Road, so it's a little bit awkward. I also don't main it. I know a lot of people main it in this deck, but I think it's inconsistent. If you look at the top 3 most played decks, Royal Oppression only hits like Substitute out of all of these, so it's just not worth playing. All right, let's hop into these replays. So Captain Keebler, he just sent me 4 replays. I don't know if he wins them. I don't know if he loses them, but he took the deck and he's like, I'm going to hop on ladder and I'm going to play him. So he loses the rock, paper, scissors. I haven't seen these matches yet, so we're going to be doing a bunch of match analysis. His opening hand looks pretty solid. He's got Thunder King, Starlight, Mirror Force, so pretty solid hand. He is going to go second up against an Android, though. So how do you clear this Android? Well, Mirror Force is a good answer. Spy into Descendant also kind of works. I think it's just set Spy, set 2. Yeah, that makes sense. Passes the turn back. Heavy Storm. There's the Road. That's why you play double Road. Anyway, he attacks the set. Lets the Spy resolve. I think that's an okay choice. Saving the Mirror Force for later is pretty cool. I might have Mirror Force to play around Honest, because usually the deck that does this is Diva Hero Beat, and they do play double Honest. So the Spy is going to die here. He's going to set a monster and pass the turn back and gain another 6. Draws Deprison, so more Battle Traps. Battle Traps are key in this deck. He can just summon Thunder King. Why would not have made that play? I would have converted this Descendant immediately. I would have popped this set monster. Because I would be annoyed if it was Snowman Eater. Plus, if there's an Honest here, you kind of get owned, but it's probably fine. Yep. Oh, look, there's the Honest. Wow. Okay, yeah. I guess speak of the devil. That's why you play around it. All right, Thunder King attacks. Penguin Soldier bounces both. It's fine, though. You still have the Mirror Force. Heavy Storm is gone, so you're still chilling. Sets the Deprison in case there's a Typhoon. I like that play. Attacks, Deprison. Pretty easy. Says, what in the Diva Hero build? Penguins and Honest, what did you have to cut? Well, they normally play Honest, so Penguin Soldier is just a tech card. Anyway, have 1 slot for either Snowman or Dyna. Choose to go with Penguin. Yep, that sounds about right. He's going to go for Diva, get another Gilman most likely. Synchro into Android, gain another 6, so second Android comes out. A lot of life points gained, but as long as you can secure the position, it's not too bad. A second Road here is kind of a good draw, because it'll allow you to get really aggressive. Normal summon Thunder King, shut off Stratos, shut off E-Call off the top, cut him off with the heroes. He's going to shuffle his hand and just pass. In the hand, you can see he's got no heroes, but he's playing Oversoul. I don't think this card is very good. I think it's a pretty bad card. So he's got some tech, but not very good tech. Normal Descendant, set Dust Shoot, pass. He's going to Dust Shoot. We're going to see the hand. He's going to see the hand. The draw was Typhoon. Opponent didn't shuffle the hand. Going to take the Diva there. That Diva could have made a Black Rose, but Black Rose could have got negated by Thunder King or Starlight Road. One thing I really like about Thunder King in this deck is that it adds a layered interrupt. So like basically like if your opponent needs to go for Bionic to game shot you or some shit, or to get rid of your Necro Valley, they can't just like Typhoon your lone back row and then go for Bionic. They have to like deal with the Thunder King and deal with the back row. So they have to deal with 2 different types of threats. So they have to have a push, and then they also have 2 different types of removal, and it's very difficult for them to have that. So because oftentimes when you're playing against Value Turbo, they'll try to go Armageddon into Plague or Grepher into Plague, and then I lost my train of thought, but you guys know what I'm saying. That's a lot of cards basically, just to clear a Necro Valley and go for game. He's gonna blind Typhoon, hit the first one. That's crazy. If I was him, I would have hit the second one, but that's a God read. He's gonna attack over the Descendant. Makes sense because if he draws any GK, that Descendant can clear. He knew about the Descendant though, so. Here comes Solemn. Captain Keebler kind of get fucking owned by that Space Typhoon. That was a really bad draw for him. Set, pass. But if he does draw a Necro Valley or a Commandant, he can use the Assailant to run over the Android. And this is why Assailant is better than Spear Soldier, because it can actually clear shit. Sets Descendant. There's no shot Android is attacking a set monster here. Okay, I lied. But there's a Necro Valley. So double Assailant. Wow. I'm like called shots, like 3 called shots. It's almost like pre-watched or some shit. That's crazy. Assailant attacks. Assailant switches the Android. 1900 direct. And now the position is pretty solidly in Captain Keebler's favor. I mean, he has 3,900 points of pressure every turn. He's got a Solemn. He's got a Starlight Road. It's going to be impossible to come back. Miracle Fusion shut off by Necro Valley. It's just over. Set back row. Attack with Thunder King. There's literally nothing you fear here because of Starlight Road. Attack for 2k. It's going to be another big push. Doesn't even matter that the opponent had 3,600 extra life points. I mean, he's just done. Future Fusion, that's going to send Alias and Diva, but he can't do any of that shit because of Necro Valley. And then just concedes. Very nice. Very nice. All right, moving on to game 2. This deck probably has a very good hero beat matchup. I didn't include it on the matchup chart, but the matchup's probably very good versus hero beat. Normal Stratos, so he gets to resolve this game. Didn't have Stratos last game, so it's back row. Got to be careful of knock here. I think just set 2 and pass is a fine play. I'm trying to think. I think if your opponent opens like this, you can make an argument for set spy, set 2 pass because you have another spy in hand. And knock doesn't get out of hand. So, yeah, I think set spy, set 2 pass is the best play. You don't need to set Necro Valley, or you don't need to activate Necro Valley because he's not like doing anything with the graveyard yet. And you don't want to play into Heavy Storm. So I think just set spy, set 2 pass is the play. Wow, he actually he came to the same conclusion. Makes sense, yeah. So even if this gets knocked, you have another spy in hand. And yeah, here comes Diva. You can use the Dust Tornado to clear the back row in case it's his own Dust Tornado. It's a return, so a pretty weak card in this matchup because they don't banish your graveyard at all. And Miracle Fusion is shut off. Here comes Brownic. That's going to be able to bounce blind back row. I would have chained the Dust Tornado there, but what do I know? Bounces the Spy, attacks for 23. This looks like a pretty bad play from Kiddo. I don't know. I just think it's a bad play. He's going to make Stardust at a back row. Yeah, that's why I would have chained the Dust Tornado, because he can make Stardust on board, and it's very likely that's what he's going to do. So set. You also activate the Necro Valley now, because he has 2 set, and Spy Walls Stardust under Necro Valley. But maybe he wants to tempt an attack, so I kind of get it. Deprison, change Shadow Mirror. That doesn't matter. He just Dust Tornadoes Space Typhoons. I would have Dust Tornadoed. Space Typhoon's a little bit more versatile than Dust Tornado. Gravekeeper Spy is going to activate. Brings out Assailant, which is a great card here. Helps him play through a possible Honest. Oh my god, it's in his hand. Very nice. Very nicely done. He did side in Pulling the Rug. I don't think Pulling the Rug is super good against this deck, but the Dust Tornado is definitely putting in the work. And this is going to be very difficult for him to come back from. I mean, he just loses. Because I don't think there's any like single draw here that does it. Maybe like Heavy Storm set the Honest, but then the Descendant just pops the Honest. I don't think there's a single draw. It has to be like a string of draws. Normal Alias, attack the Spy. Takes 200, passes, but then Assailant just clears it. And that's the game. Yep. And he plays around Honest. Very expertly, hits for 2k. Sets. Doesn't even feel the need to upstart yet. Sets that pass. Descendant just pops. Target the back row, flip the Spy, get another card. This is surgical. Very well done from Captain Keebler there. I think he played this game expertly. The last game was kind of interesting, waiting to use the Mirror Force on the Android, not playing around the Honest. Usually if people go first summon Android, they're playing Diva Hero Beat. It's possible it could have been Diva Hero, but like, yeah, it's very likely that if you're playing Diva Hero, you're saving your Diva for a power play. You're not just like shotgunning it. If they shotgun a Diva turn 1, it usually means that their hand's either very bad, in which case if you Mirror Force the Android, you win anyway, or they are playing Diva Hero Beat and they do have Honests. And so I think the first game could have been played a little bit differently with like some format knowledge, but the second game he played incredibly well. So that was sick. All right, moving on to the next game that he sent. He sent this game versus Skulip. Another ladder game. He's playing 40, his opponent's playing 41 cards. I played 41 cards yesterday in Vayu Turbo, and it was awful. It was an awful experience. This hand looks good. He's got Cyber Dragon. He's got the Starlight Road. You just want to see this all the time. So, yeah, he can Commandant, grab Necro Valley, Upstart Goblin, see what's up in his deck. Finds another Commandant. Beautiful draw because it immediately makes the Gravekeeper steal live. He could pitch the Commandant, get a second Necro Valley now, and just steal turn 1 if he wants to. No need to do that. Just set. What the fuck? Why would you set the steal? Also, I would activate Necro Valley turn 1. There's really no reason not to. You searched it, and opponent's going to play into road. There's a Stardust Dragon. Here comes Sirocco. Bottomless that every single day of the week in case they have Gale. Set pass. Necro Valley, Royal Tribute is pretty good here. Normal Summon Commandant, activate Necro Valley, activate Royal Tribute. It's going to rip 2 monsters. So let's take a look at his back row. He's got Icarus and Legacy of Yada. Legacy of Yada can help him out here, but that Icarus is completely fucked into this Stardust Dragon. Blizzard's dead off the top because of Necro Valley. Vayu, Dark Arm Dragon, not great draws. So he's just kind of in a tough spot here. I think he's fucking owned. I think the game's over. He just hits for 46. Yeah, I think he just wins. It's another 46 next turn. Close it out. Legacy, try to find something. He's got Brain Control Solemn. If he brains his Stardust, he can run over the Commandant. But then Steel just wins. He's forced to do it. So this is checkmate. He attacks the Commandant, passes the Stardust back, draws a Steel. Even if he Solemns that, he dies to the Stardust in play. GG. In the sideboard, cards I like to side against Blackwings in this deck is just the 2 Dust Tornadoes. That's it. I don't think you really need anything else. You can make an argument for the Compulsory or the Mind Crush, but I think just the 2 Dust Tornadoes is all you need. The main deck is pretty solid versus Blackwings. It has all the tools you need to win. You can make an argument for like cutting like down on Dust Shoots and Royal Tributes. Those are like the weakest cards against Blackwings. And then Dust Tornadoes is the strongest. There's an argument also for Cyber Dragon, and there's an argument also for Compulsory and Mind Crush, but I think just Dust Tornado is fine. Deck Dev, a 1-of Deck Dev could do some work as well. We'll see how Kevin Keebler decides to side, but I think just having the strongest deck game 1 versus Blackwings is Gravekeeper's best plan. Opening hand, very solid. He's got the Spy. There is a Blackwing Shura off the top. So here you don't Upstart Goblin. Well, I think you go Necro Valley Royal Tribute. Well, yeah, I think you go Necro Valley Royal Tribute. He summons Descendant, activates Necro Valley. Oh, he's going to attack. No, he's not going to attack. He's posturing like he's going to attack. Okay, that makes sense. Skulap's going to wait to Icarus until... Oh, this is really smart. This is really smart. Royal Tribute can rip the Kalutes, and then Descendant can run over the Shura. He can always get the Spy back later when he needs to, and he maintains initiative here. Oh, this is very good. Let's see the hand. Holy shit. What was his back row? Legacy? Oh my fucking god. Just absolutely cooked. Absolutely cooked. And that's why you got to play the 3, I think. Just seeing it early is just so much more devastating. That is fucking crazy. Upstart Goblin finds another Necro Valley. So he would have been live to tribute this turn no matter what, even if he had gotten Icarus. Attack with the Descendant. Opponent should Legacy. He should Legacy in case he draws the 3rd Kalut. There's no reason not to Legacy right there. He takes 200. He draws Bora. Legacy's into Brain Control. So he's just cooked. Draws Bottomless. Oh, that's even more game. 2K Direct. Set Bottomless Pass. Sets that pass. Summon Thunder King. Thunder King is insane here. 3,900. Normal Sirocco. Bottomless Trap Hole. Not even a GG's from the opponent. Damn. Thunder King applying the pressure. Great play with summoning the Descendant instead of setting the Spy. I might have set the Spy there. But that was a great play with the Descendant. Dang. Crazy stuff. Crazy, crazy stuff from Captain Keebler. I think he played that very well. Alright, moving on to the next match that he sent us. This is another ladder match versus Lord Pogchimp, which is an interesting one. Kevin Keebler wins the rock, paper, scissors, which is pretty crucial in this deck, especially when you got stuff like Thunder King that you really want in play turn 1. Upstart Goblin finds Royal Tribute, still a little bit light on that Necro Valley. So what Kevin Keebler might want to do this turn is actually set the Spy, just to open up a potential Commandant draw. But summoning Thunder King is also fine too. Looks like he wants to summon the Thunder King. That's pretty good. I like it. You force the opponent to out the Thunder King. And here, I think you just negate. Yeah, see, I would have negated there. Because if he has Caius, then he just Caiuses your Thunder King and you cry, or he Caiuses your back row and you cry. So I would have negated there with Thunder King and just taken my 1-for-1 trade. Plus, it opens up the potential Commandant draw off the top. He's going to deprison. And then normal summon Ancient Gear Beast. Wow. Interesting. Thunder King's good versus matchup because it shuts off terraforming. Did he have terraforming? No, but he did have Gear Frame. So yeah, Thunder King actually puts in a lot of work versus this matchup. It's not great, but it's not bad. This is generally speaking a bad matchup for this deck. Interestingly enough. This Ancient Gear Beast is going to be problems because it currently can't be outed. I think you just set a bunch here. Yeah. That's tough. Second Beast. Jesus. Alright, clears the Thunder King. Attacks him the Spy. Spy gets Descendant. Because you have to try and hold up. Gets Descendant. I'm trying to think here. Oh, yeah, of course. I was thinking you would get another Spy and then you could book that Spy. And for some reason, my brain was just not computing that you could just book the original Gravekeeper Spy. Here comes Terraforming. Oh, he did have Terraforming, so he set it bluff. Interesting. Okay. Interesting. Set brings out the Ancient Gear Gajiltron. That's a little ambitious, but I guess you're just representing a lot of dudes and just saying you have to out all of them to attack me, which is understandable. Book the Spy, flip the Spy. This is kind of what we expected. This is going to pop 2 of the monsters, but it can't pop all 3. Book of Moon really strong in this circumstance because it just turns into a generic pop. This Gear Beast is going to be a fucking problem, though. Set passed. Here comes Gear Frame. That's a liability, though. What he should do is equip the Gear Beast. Pitch Special Fortress. Yeah, he's getting too greedy here. I don't like this play at all. Wow. He could have won this game if he just equipped the Gear Beast and gone the distance with it. I think that's a pretty big choke from the opponent. This matchup being bad is another reason to main deck Cyber Dragon. Mirror Force. Wow, that's crazy. He actually drew it. That's so many called shots in this video. Yeah, I like that. Solid Mirror Force. Passes turn back, draws Necro Valley. You don't want to play that. Huh. So if you activate a field spell and it pops your opponent's field spell, Gear Town actually doesn't miss timing if I remember correctly in Edison format. If I remember correctly. I should look that up. Let's go ahead and check out edisonformat.com. Okay, so if we go to the rules, individual card rulings, and then we go to Gear Town. So, let's see here. You can activate this effect if an opponent's field spell resolves, destroying your face-up Gear Town. Yes. So, here, in this match, or not that match, in this match, the opponent just doesn't know how his own cards work. First off, not equipping the Gear Frame, playing into a Mirror Force he absolutely shouldn't have, and then doesn't know how Gear Town works. Gear Town doesn't work if you activate your own field spell over Gear Town, but it does if your opponent activates Gear Town over it. And it says, here's the reference. Let's pull this shit up. Because I want to see if there's an explanation for this or if it's just like fucking bullshit. Okay. If I control a Gear Town face up or face down and I set a new field spell, my old one will be destroyed as soon as I do. However, there isn't an activation resolve. Gear Town's optional trigger effect doesn't miss the timing, and this is a very common play to see done because of it. If I control a Gear Town face up and my opponent activates a new field spell, mine isn't destroyed and sent to the graveyard until after the new one has resolved. So Gear Town's optional trigger won't miss timing here either. There you go. It's explained there. There you go. Cool. All right. Cool ruling. Yeah, especially if you play Ancient Gear, you should definitely know that. Opponent didn't know that, but he's gonna be able to Gear Town and pop this Necro Valley. So, definitely missing out on a 1 game there because he just brings out a Gajiltron Dragon, and I mean he deals 3,000. I don't know if it's a 1 game, but it's because he has the Cyber Dragon. But yeah, now he's gonna try and pop the Gear Town again. Opponent's still not gonna know the ruling, so he's missing 2 opportunities here. I mean, that being said, he would have dealt 3,000. Cabin Keebler would have been at 4,400. Cyber Dragon would have cleared. Chimera Tech would have attacked for 2,000. He would have top decked Magic Cylinder. Yeah. But it just seems that And Captain Keebler doesn't need to tell his opponent this is how it works because it's an optional effect. So he's not doing anything wrong here. Call of the Haunted being the draw, pretty silly with Necro Valley in play. Draws Torrential Tribute, just sets that. Activates Storm. There's Starlight Road. That's brutal. Gonna bring out Stardust Dragon. Now there's actually some pressure. A lot of pressure. That is 4,600. And we've seen this clock before. This is a 2-turn clock. Gonna be 3-turn because of the cylinder. Here comes a Gear Frame search. Gonna search Fortress. Forced to summon the Fortress. Activates Gear Frame to equip, but bro, Mirror Force is gone. There's no reason to equip the Gear Frame now. Anyway, he's just gonna get 2 for 1 by a D Prison. And yeah, that's gonna be game. Just steal back the guys, normal summon, attack for game. Moving on to the next one. So definitely Lord Pogchimp, kind of a newer player, doesn't know the rulings, but still nonetheless good to cover this because I feel like that ruling could definitely come up for people if you're not familiar with this format. Future Fusion is going to reveal the Ancient Gear Golem. I actually really like that card. Ultimate Ancient Gear Golem. And then it sends Ultimate, or the other Ancient Gear Golem. I actually really like these cards. I think they're really strong. I think they're underrated in machine decks in general as just generic Monster Reborns / 3,000 Piercers that can't be de-prison. Draw is Gravekeeper Spy. I don't have a list that plays them currently, but I think that you could build a list around this card and it would be pretty good. Pitch, search Necro Valley, Heavy Storm, Upstart Goblin. I would have heavied before Upstart Goblin in case of Dust Shoot. Yeah, I would have heavied before Upstart Goblin in case of Dust Shoot. Generally speaking, you got to think about when you're using Upstart Goblin. Anyway, here comes a Heavy Storm. It's not going to end up mattering. Sets the Spy, activates Necro Valley, sets 2, and yeah, I also probably wouldn't have activated the Necro Valley. Opponent hasn't played a single Gear Town yet. He has 3 Terraforming, 3 of that. I would have held the Necro Valley. That's it. I just would have held it. Opponent draws. There's Heavy Storm. Yet again, Starlight Road is activated. Every single time Starlight Road has been drawn in all 3 of these games, it has been immediately live. So this is my biggest argument for playing 2 and Upstart Goblin to guarantee you see it early and see it often. Starlight Road is good early, and it is good for the most part. Opponent just leaves the duel after that. Kind of crazy. Because his hand plays through this pretty easily. Like, all he has to do is, like, summon Fortress, attack the Stardust. He goes Mirror Force. Okay, you still have another Fortress play. With Gear Frame, go search Machina Force. Machina Force, pitch, bring out Machina Fortress. Yeah, I don't really like that. So a lot of mistakes from Lord Pogchamp. Not the best competitive replay, but I do think this replay was important because it showcased a couple of rulings that might not have come up otherwise. All right, and the last replay Captain Keebler sent us is versus Johnson Boss, and he's got 43 cards in deck, so possibly that Amaryllis deck that just topped. That's my immediate thinking when I see 43 cards and a player on the ladder. It's like, oh, he probably just copied the deck that topped. This hand sucks, but at least you have Dust Shoot. So he's going to set Dust Shoot, set Heavy Storm, and set Bottomless. I would not have set the Heavy Storm here because when you Dust Shoot them, you can't take Heavy Storm. So, yeah, I would not have set it. Anyway, he's going to Dust Shoot him. Check out the hand. There's only a Stratos. Wow. 43 cards. Stratos? What deck plays 43 cards on a main deck Dust Tornado with Stratos? I guess we're going to find out. Shuffles a card back. He's going to set only 2 and pass. Understandable. You can't really Typhoon here. He's going to flip Heavy Storm. Take the 2 for 2 trade. He's going to set Typhoon and pass. I would not have Heavy Stormed there. I would have waited. He was maybe scared of it getting dusted, but I would have waited on it. He draws Mirror Force, sets Mirror Force. He draws Cold Wave, sets a call. Not shuffling his hand. He's playing Cold Wave Stratos. Weird. You usually don't see Cold Wave and Stratos in the same deck because Cold Wave and Miracle Fusion don't couple together well. Because Miracle Fusion is a spell. Usually you see Cold Wave in decks with payoffs that are monster effects, like JD, or Dark Armed, or even Christia in some cases. But usually don't see Cold Wave in payoffs in decks that payoffs are like spell cards. Like usually don't see Cold Wave in in like Dragon Turbo, for example, because their payoff is Super Rejuvenation. So you can't Cold Wave and then play all your draw spells in the same turn. Additionally, you can't go for your payoff in some instances because you may need to use Instant Fusion or Pot of Avarice in some cases. So usually you don't see it. In this deck, I don't see why Cold Wave would be played. You got a ton of your own back row that your own Cold Wave is going to stop. But maybe we learn a little bit more here. He's going to go Typhoon, pitch, search, Necro Valley. He's going to Royal Tribute for -1 here, which sucks, but the opponent's hand is like pretty bad. And also gives him perfect info on the set being D-Prison because he saw that D-Prison earlier. So, opponent's going to draw Gladiator Beast War Chariot. Starting to make a little bit more sense. He's playing 43 cards Gladiator Beasts. It's not very common to see Stratos in Gladiator Beasts, but it is something that Johnson Boss has decided to include. It's not a bad inclusion. It's just not a Gladiator Beast summon, which is why people usually don't include it. This is going to be a Spy Flip, undoubtedly. That's going to bring out the Descendant. Descendant's just going to pop the old D-Prison, going to swing into Mirror Force. Mirror Force is going to get used, and, you just take that trade and pass. Opponent draws Trap Sun, sets it, draws Torrential, sets it. This is a little bit awkward showing for Cyber Dragon, but Cyber Dragon's pretty good against Glads, so it'll at least be a strong play under Cold Wave. Normal the Descendant. Can't really stop that, so he's going to take 2,000. Nice thing about Necro Valley is it's not shut off by Cold Wave because it's just a continuous effect, and Cold Wave only shuts off like activations. Draws Laquari. So he's got Laquari here. He can attack into Mirror Force. He's got Trap Stun for the Mirror Force and then Book of Moon for the Descendant. But Laquari can't tag into Laquari. So Bestiary can pop the Necro Valley here, but then Cyber Dragon comes down and it runs over Bestiary. So it's just kind of ugly. Special Sidra. Sidra attacks the Bestie. Forced to book the Sidra. But because he drew D-Prison, because he's playing 3, he can set that bad boy. Now, Johnson Boss has actually got a pretty good situation here where he can Cold Wave and make Geyseris if he draws a Glad. But he draws Elemental Hero Ocean, which is another card you don't really see in Gladiator Beast decks because it's a bad card. It's another 1,500 normal summon in a deck full of 1,500 normal summons. That doesn't have an immediately impactful effect. So I think it's pretty bad. He's going to Cold Wave, attack. I'm kind of shocked that Gravekeeper didn't set the D-Prison because you have to set the D-Prison to deal with that Bestiary. You have perfect info because he's just going to go tag into something, right? But I guess he knows about the Cold Wave. He doesn't want to lose a Cold Wave to a possible Geyseris or lose the D-Prison to a possible Geyseris. Yeah, it makes sense. He's going to pop the Cyber Dragon. The draw is Necro Valley, just passes the turn. Attacks for 800. He's going to let that happen. 1,500. Tags out, and that's going to play right into Torrential Tribute. There it is. Normal summon Laquari main phase 2. Draws Gravekeeper Spy. Set, pass. Activate Necro Valley. Oh, he should have activated Necro Valley. I guess he was scared of a top deck way to make Geyseris, I suppose. D-Prison's Laquari. He doesn't set the Wabaku. Spy gets flipped. He drew all 3 tributes in this game. This is definitely a matchup where you side him out. Activates Tribute just to see the hand. Hits for 37. Now he has perfect info. He knows there's a Wabaku and a Chariot. He's got a Tribute set as well. Here's Future Fusion. That's a Mulligan. That's a non-draw. So it looks like he's trying to play Absolute Zero in his Gladiator Beast deck. There's really no reason to do that. There's the Wabaku. Forces it. Gives him 1,000 life points to draw into Bottomless, which I think is a great draw here. Normal Darius. Bottomless. Passes. Normal Commandant. Attack for game. So a very back and forth game, a couple of different decision points. Because he knew about that Cold Wave, that created an interesting turn there. But I think ultimately it came down to Johnson Boss having a bad deck, like a weaker deck. He drew his weaker cards that he wasn't supposed to have in his deck. Like, I don't think the Miracle Fusion stuff really contributes to Gladiator Beasts all that much. It doesn't really add to the ceiling of the deck, and it doesn't really improve your matchups into the matchups that are bad for Gladiator Beasts, like all the Royal Oppression decks, for example. And Absolute Zero is just kind of like, it's good against zombies and Lightsworn, which your deck is already good against. So you're like adding this extra clunky bit to your deck that gives you access to a boss monster that's only good in the matchups that you already beat, and it makes you even weaker to the matchups you lose to. So I think it's just not conducive to a strong Gladiator Beast deck. if his opponent was playing like a better deck, I think that game could have gone a bunch of different ways. But he dead drew the Ocean, he dead drew the Future Fusion, and he got run the fuck over. So, yeah. That being said, Captain Keebler had a really bad draw in the last game. He drew triple Royal Tribute, all of which missed. Upstart Goblin's going to draw a Gravekeeper Spy. Set, pass. Here comes Stratos. Interesting. He can go for the Ancient Forest now if he wants to flip the Spy up. He's not going to, though. He's saving it to kill a Necro Valley. Interesting. Here's Gravekeeper Spy. Effect's going to activate. He's going to grab out Descendant. He should actually be at 8,800 here, not 9,200. Neither of them are going to catch it. Descendant's going to pop a blind back row. Space Typhoon Chain Dust Tornado. So a little 2-for-2 action. But the Spy got the +1, so he's just up a solid plus. Space Typhoon another back row. Activate Necro Valley. Attacks the Stratos. Clears the Stratos, another +1. Set Spy, set Mirror Forest, pass. Here comes Ancient Forest. That's going to deal with the Spy and the Necro Valley all in one. Special Summon Cyber Dragon. That's going to get hit by Mirror Force unless he has a way to stop that, which he doesn't. Normal Prisma. Send Bestiari. Special Tiger. Ooh, never mind. This one might be over. Yeah, this one might be over. This is the strength of Gladiator Beast right here. The Cyber Dragon, the whatever. The Prisma Tiger. That's pretty good. Stratos pretty good at searching Prisma and setting up for this play. Attacks the Spy, takes 12. He's going to tag that out. Cyber Dragon looking a little awkward with the Forest, but it is what it is. Special Laquari, Special Secutor, draws Necro Valley. That's a really, really fucking good draw. Azbek double Spy. Set Spy. What? Yeah, I don't think you can make that play. I think you have to add back Spy Necro Valley, or Spy Descendant, normal Descendant, activate Necro Valley, kill the Secutor. But I guess he knows about Wabaku. Does he know about Wabaku? Oh, he might know about Wabaku. I don't fucking know. Anyway, here comes the Laquari. Spy's going to activate Special's Assailant in defense position. Cyber Dragon's going to trade with the Assailant. I say trade because the Ancient Forest will blow it up. Bestiari is going to be used to pop the Ancient Forest so it doesn't pop the Cyber Dragon. Laquari is going to tag into Hoplimus, so cool stuff. He can go for the Heraclinos now if he wants to and then just win the game. He doesn't even need to type these stats out. Just make the Heraclinos. Go to game 3. Oh, he let that resolve. Interesting. Okay, here comes Assailant. Assailant can attack the Secutor. Then he just goes Wabaku. And then, yeah, next game. Okay. So, really powerful turn there with Secutor. The Gladiator Beast deck really cooks this deck on God. But this game he drew as one of Royal Oppression, so I'm assuming that's how things go. And Thunder King's also fucking fantastic versus this deck. So, yeah, upstarts into Spy. Just great hand. Set Spy, set Oppression, pass. Draws a bunch of back row, sets it all, passes. Flip Spy, activate the effect, grabs Descendant. Should activate Necro Valley. He should have activated Necro Valley. There's no reason not to activate Necro Valley. Yeah, you activate Necro Valley, and that's kind of a check. But it looks like he's just going to run into Mirror Force. 1-for-1. He could chain Book on the Spy. I actually don't hate that play. Yeah, he's going to do that. I would have activated the Necro Valley for sure, though. Because that 1,000 damage actually a big deal. Normal's Thunder King, main phase 2. That's just going to resolve. Now what does this guy do? He draws Granmole, which is a good card, but it's not a Glad. Man, he's in a tough spot here. I think he has to bounce the Spy. Yeah. But you just let that happen if you're Captain Keebler. Well, you don't have a choice. Oppression doesn't stop. Granmole. The draw is Steel. I guess summon second Thunder King, 3,800. Yeah, I don't know why you're playing around Mirror Force. Because it's gone. And then it's limited to 1. So, like, you want to close this game out. And he's shown weakness, like, right? Like, Granmole attack the Spy there is pretty bad. Like, if he had Torrential, he's not Granmole attacking the Spy. He's just letting you flip the Spy and then flipping Torrential. So he doesn't have Torrential. And Mirror Force is gone. So there's no reason not to summon Thunder King unless your plan is to set the spy again. Which, again, the opponent never corrected the life point issue from earlier, where he should be actually 400 points lower, but it's whatever. He bounces the spy. I don't think it'll end up mattering. Was that this game or was that last game? It might have been last game. Anyway, Thunder King attacks for 19. Once again, like, there's no reason not to attack with both Thunder Kings. He's forced to Grand Mole bounce one of them. You've missed 1900 damage at this point. Now you're missing 38. Like, it's the same thing, but you're actually connecting, you know. Draws Torrential, sets back row. And now he does find the Torrential, so he doesn't Mole. So now you should predict Torrential, which he correctly does because he got the road. He's going to set 2. Hopefully bait the dust on the first one, which he does, which is the steal. So very nice keeping his road around. There's no trap stun to be had, and even if there was, it would shut off the Torrential. He's going to use that to set his own Dust Tornado. He's going to dust the other new one. It's going to hit Torrential or Starlight, so that's pretty good for him. But now he doesn't have an out to Oppression. He's going to activate Ancient Forest, flip the guy. Normal Gladiator Beast, attack, deal 5. Effective tag, pays 8. Darius gets shuffled back for cost. Ancient Forest is annoying, but he can just activate Necro Valley to clear it. He's going to pop the Ancient Forest. I don't even think you summon it. If you're playing around Torrential the whole game, you're going to play into it right now? Oh my god, he is. He would have won the game, by the way. His opponent's at 33, so he would have won the game there. Had he dealt 3,800 those last few turns. Draws Dust Tornado. Normal's Grand Mole. Attacks for 900. Now you got an awkward situation. Normal Thunder King set D Prison. He normals, he passes. He doesn't want to swing into D Prison. Normal Commandant, Mirror Force, Torrential are gone, so he's forced to use spot removal here, and that's not even a good spot removal to use. Passes the turn, draws another War Chariot, deprisons the Gremel, draws a couple of cards. He says, GG's, fuck Oppression. Honestly, it wasn't Oppression. It was your deck just breaking on Test Tigers and Chariots versus Beatsticks, which is what beats Glads, so... I think Captain Keebler played this game a little bit awkwardly. He definitely could have played a little bit more aggressively, but didn't end up mattering. He went 4-0 with the deck and kind of showcased the strengths, especially of the Thunder Kings. I think they seemed absolutely insane anytime he drew them. So try this deck out. Let me know what you guys think. I think this is a better way to play Gravekeepers than the last few ways I have posted, honestly. No offense to Swagger, but Jesus Christ. Those decks were bad. And if you want to play a deck like this in a tournament, RBETs are coming up. We've got the RBET on June 8th and 9th online, and then the subsequent weekend in Los Angeles. These tournaments are filling up. I believe almost 100 people have signed up for Los Angeles already, and we have kind of a soft capacity on that because we're going to leave like a couple slots open for last minute stuff, but that's about... Last I checked, it's about 2/3 of the way full on Los Angeles, and it will fill up. Like, this tournament will sell out, without a doubt. SoCal's the biggest region for Edison format, so definitely come through. And then the New York tournament is also getting to similar levels. I think the New York tournament has a little bit higher of a capacity, but it's about half sold out as well. So if you want to come to this and you want to sign up, then do what you got to do. RBT Laurel, Maryland is a bigger tournament, but sign up for it as soon as you can. It gives us a good idea of how many players we are working with, and it also allows you to plan for the travel far enough ahead. RBT Laurel, Maryland, I expect to be the biggest of the 3 tournaments. So it's going to be really hype, and all the prizes are insane. You can find links to the signups in the description below. And if you have any further questions, just hit me up on Discord or something. I'll try to get back to your messages. And yeah, smash like, smash subscribe. You get the vibe. Peace out.